Jesse Paculat back with you on the Jesse and Friends show. I'm joined right now, you and I are joined right now, listener and me. We are joined right now by Christie Palazzolo.
Hello.
Hello, Christie. Now, don't worry, listener, I'll do most of the talking. I think that's how radio works.
Okay.
How's it going, Christie?
It's going great. How about you?
Not too bad.
Wonderful.
Just so the listener knows, Christie, she writes songs and then she sings them, as I understand.
Yes. It's pretty in-depth, but yes.
I was reading your bio.
I know. You have to keep it short and sweet, you know. Attention spans nowadays, they're not very big, so.
Right. You've given us here at Q101 the gift of more CanCon, so thank you for that.
Oh, wonderful. I'm glad to hear that.
Not just CanCon, but a good tune, man. I dig it.
Yeah, that makes me happy.
Not just saying that.
Well, that's the goal as a songwriter, right? You want people to dig your stuff, so that's good. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Many folks may not know this. I didn't. But you come from a big musical family. You have your dad, you got Pete, Nino and Nino, amongst others.
Yep. Very musical family, and they actually all, like my aunts and uncles, they all play some kind of instrument, or they sing, or they're in different bands and stuff. So I've been around it ever since I was really little. And
since you grew up with that musical family, personally, do you feel some inner pressure at all to succeed?
Well, you know what? A little bit. I think mostly when I was younger, because I was kind of forced into doing it at a really young age. And at the time, I didn't realize how much I actually enjoyed it, right? Because I think when you're a young child, you just want to rebel and not listen to your parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not really thinking about what may be benefiting you in the future. And I didn't really notice when I was younger how much of an impact it would actually have on me later on in life. But as I started growing up, I really gravitated to it a lot more so than when I was younger, and I just started doing it on my own after that. So
you mentioned it was kind of like thrust upon you at an early age. It's kind of like how most kids get into hockey, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah. And they hate it. They hate the practicing, and they don't like going, and that's the part that sucks. I think that's the part that every kid hates.
Right, the practicing.
Yeah.
I know that it's kind of grown on you now, and I know right now you rock the guitar, but I understand that another musical instrument, it was kind of an acquired taste for you. When you were younger, how lame was it to practice piano?
It sucked. It's awful. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I don't know. I just did not like it at all. But I think it was the actual piano lessons that I had to do, because I liked learning pop songs on the piano, right? Like if my teacher was teaching me actual songs around the radio or stuff that I enjoyed, then it was different. But it was the theory and all the stuff that just is awful. You have to just keep doing it, and it's so repetitive and awful. So I did not like it at all. But again, as I got older, I started realizing how important it actually is, and I enjoyed it a lot more. And now I find myself, now that I'm like 24, I'm going back and trying to learn things properly when I didn't do it the first time. So funny how that works out.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Just the things that you know now that you would do differently as a youngster. I guess for me that's comedy or hockey, although there's still time to get into comedy.
Oh, and that's the thing that sucks, right? You hate to look back and regret that, right? So I wish back then, I wish my dad would have pushed me a little harder in that sense, but it was the singing that I always kept with me, right? And I never stopped doing that. I've always been singing since I was younger, and that never bothered me at all. But just having to sit there and practice that I didn't like, right? So
yeah, nobody likes practice. And I don't know where I saw this. I saw it somewhere, maybe online somewhere. It was a fan that approached an MLB baseball player and said, "I wish I could do what you do." And then he said, "No, you don't." I mean, the fan's thinking, what do you mean? You don't wish that you could, wake up at the crack of dawn and hit balls until your hands blister?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you practice and you practice and you practice and you get better.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't see, right? They don't see all the practice and the hard work that goes into it, right? And now that I'm older and I understand how much time and effort actually goes into it, I realize, man, like I wish I didn't waste all those years like telling myself I hated it when I could have just been practicing, and by now I would have been where I want to be, right?
Yeah, it's easy to waste time, especially as a teenager.
Absolutely. But that's why now I don't waste any time, right? So now I wake up really early when I never used to, and I do this like for hours a day, right? So get back all the lost time.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, you don't have really anything to do during the day, but you set an alarm for yourself.
Yes, I do. I teach singing lessons. My dad owns a music school here in Windsor, so I teach singing lessons 4 days a week. But I make myself get up early in the morning and have a little routine for myself. So I make sure that I get a couple hours in a day of practicing and do piano and guitar and then songwriting, and then I work on my voice a little bit. So do as much as I can.
And growing up, you did a lot of karaoke nights too?
You know what? Not really karaoke nights, but we did a lot of talent shows and that kind of stuff around Windsor. And like I said, because my dad owns a music school, he used to put together all these talent shows for kids, and so he'd always make me go in them and that kind of stuff, and school performances.
And I understand you actually perform with your father quite a bit too.
Yeah, and I never used to, but now that I finished school and everything, I have a little bit more time, so my dad and I decided to start our own little duo gig, and we do that a couple times a month. So I do that with him, and then I perform on my own, and then I'm in a wedding band, believe it or not. I'm in that as well, and then starting my own thing with my own band, playing my own original music, so it's not just me doing it by myself. So trying to get the ball rolling here, but keep myself busy and try to get better, right?
Right. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And, you like you mentioned, you play with your family and all that. Are you guys better than the Osmonds, would you say?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know. It's interesting. It's so funny because it's normal for me, like having music around and seeing that everybody in my family can play an instrument or sing or do something like that. It's just been around it for so long that it just seems normal to me, right? But people always tell me, oh, your family's so talented. It's weird to hear that, though, right? When you've grown up with it, it just seems normal to you. So.
Well, it's still pretty gratifying to hear that, I imagine.
For sure. Yeah.
I love me some compliments, man. I can't get enough of them.
That's great.
Now, you started out pretty early. You became the lead singer of One Man Out.
Yeah.
At a young age. You were 17.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that was a big deal. And as far as giving yourself confidence, how big was that for you?
Oh, it was huge. Because I was around the time that I decided that I wanted to start pursuing this as a career, which I didn't know in the beginning, like I said. So, joining that band really helped me in a lot of ways. So just like performing-wise, I've just gained so much more confidence just being on stage and being able to engage with an audience and get the crowd going and all that stuff. And, like I said, so that's the band that I play at weddings and the casino here in Windsor, and you do all kinds of stuff. So I'm in all these different venues, and you have to engage with all these different people. So it helps you, right? Get the audience going.
Yeah, definitely. Weddings can be pretty fun.
They're really fun. They're a lot of fun, and that's the one atmosphere that I really, really enjoy, right? And then, there's part of me too, like when I'm with my band and I'm playing at weddings and stuff, and I'm seeing how the crowd reacts to us and how they're engaging with us. It's just such a great feeling, right? And as a songwriter, you can't help but think, oh my God, like I wish I could play my own songs and have people do this to my own stuff, right? So that's always where my head is at, even with that band. So that's why I'm trying to start another band as well and start doing my own stuff, because there's no better feeling than performing in front of people and having them react that way to you. Right,
having them react positively.
Yeah.
When you have like you and like your gang behind you with your instruments and you're making the crowd move.
Right, exactly. It's a great feeling.
Now at 19, this is a couple years down the road after you became the lead singer of One Man Out, you were the lead in a 60s style show at the Caesars Casino, where you often play in Windsor. California Dreamin'. I love me some 60s, man. Namely like funk and Motown.
Yeah.
What is your favorite 60s jam when you were the lead in that show?
Oh, you know what? It's funny because obviously, being at the age that I am, I didn't really listen to too much of the 60s music, but when I joined that, and I wasn't the lead. I had, there was about 6 of us, so I was one of the leads, and so that was my first time being in a huge production like that, and it was kind of intimidating because I was with a lot of people that have a lot more experience than I did, so it was a huge stepping stone for me, and I learned so much, but yeah, I don't know. For the 60s, we sang like a lot of different things, and I started really digging the Mamas and the Papas.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one. I really, really started liking them, and honestly, a lot of the songs that I did sing, I hadn't heard up until that show, so it was pretty cool. It's a good learning experience, right? When you have to sing different genres of music and force yourself to connect with it somehow, and then hopefully it comes across good to the crowd. So.
That introduced you to 60s stuff, and it kind of stuck with you since then? You still find yourself listening to it when you have some off time?
You know what? Not so much. Not so much the 60s. I can definitely, I have a love for all genres of music. It's just cool. It's interesting to listen to, but I wouldn't find myself listening to it now. But, in the moment when you're learning about different genres, it's cool. You kind of go, oh, this is interesting. It's interesting to hear that kind of style, especially when you hear the stuff that's on the radio now.
Mm-hmm.
Different. So I'm always open to learning new styles of music, but
yeah, I guess it's weird how I got into it. I guess I started really liking hip hop when I was a teenager, and then as I grew a little older, I found out like what some of those songs were sampling from before.
Yeah.
And I ended up discovering a lot of funk music and some Motown and stuff, and I got right into it. I still listen to a lot of it now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Stuff like James Brown and...
Nice.
I really love watching like live performances from James Brown. Like, dude could dance so well.
Yeah. Can you dance like that? I don't know.
No, I wish. I do dance, but not like that.
That's good.
Now, when you were doing that California Dreamin', it wasn't a small affair. You were performing in front of 6,000 people. That's 12,000 eyes, give or take an eye or two. I don't know. So that's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, was it overwhelming at first, or did you kind of feel comfortable with the big crowd?
You know what? Like I said, I've been performing since I was really young, so the actual performing aspect is, that wasn't new to me, but obviously the atmosphere was much different because you're on a huge stage and then you have like a huge crowd of people, and it was like they were sold out shows. So for me, yeah, it was a little intimidating, but it was only beforehand. I found as soon as I got on stage that, I've always loved performing and I love singing, and it just it seemed to come naturally to me. But, of course, being a little bit more inexperienced than the other people you're performing with, you can't help but think, oh my God, like, I can't believe I'm doing this with people that are so amazing, and like, who am I,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of had that mindset going into it, but once I got there, I think I fit right in, and I had an awesome time. So it was great. The adrenaline is like nothing you ever feel. It's just a totally different feeling.
I kind of feel the same thing on a much lower scale, mind you. I mean, I can't sing or anything, but since being here on the station, doing my thing on the radio, they get me to do these kind of events around town.
Yeah.
I find it actually, I'm quite comfortable doing it.
That's awesome. But a lot of people are not comfortable doing that. So I don't know, it's interesting how some people can do that so easily, and then other people, it terrifies them.
I'd probably be more intimidated if it was a bunch of people that I actually knew.
And it's so funny you say that because I feel the same way about any type of performance that I do. If like my family's there or there's people in the crowd that I know, it's like you feel like I don't know. It's almost like you feel like you have something to prove to them.
Yeah.
And you want to be perfect. I don't know.
Yeah. You kind of try too hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely get that feeling sometimes. But when I'm with people that I don't even know and they're strangers, I can totally do my thing and not even think about it.
Since that 60 style, you did 6,000 people at that one, but it was growing fast for you. You did the children's games. You performed for 10,000 folks on that one.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to alarm you, but right now, You are inside the ears of 1 million people, give or take.
Oh.
Give or take about 990,000, I'd say, at least.
Oh my God. That's intimidating.
That's a lot of folks, man.
It's a lot of people.
I like to think, anyway.
That's crazy.
I imagine 1 million people listening to me every time I do the show. It's probably not true.
Exactly 1 million people.
Yes.
That's so funny.
Now, speaking of that, children's games, how was it performing with Susie McNeil? Was it a merry-go-round? I don't know why I just said that.
Oh. She was wonderful. She was just such a nice person. And for me, like, that was the first time I had actually, like, sung with anybody who's somewhat famous or has, you know, done some pretty amazing things. So for me, I was a little, like, starstruck when I met her. And, you know, you can't help but think when you're meeting someone who has, you know, they've been that successful, you think to yourself, oh my God, they're going to be snobby or they're not going to like me or something like that. And she was so not like that. She was so down to earth, just so wonderful. It made me feel comfortable, and we just had such a good time together. So it was great.
And you guys ended up singing one of your favorite songs to perform. That's Journey's Don't Stop Believin'.
Yeah, that's the best song ever. Crowd pleaser for most people, anyways.
Yeah, that's an easy one to get over.
Yeah.
It's a showbiz term.
Yeah, that was really fun. It was awesome. But yeah, I'm happy that she turned out to be a really nice person, and she just was so much fun and had this like aura about her, really positive. It was really cool. So, very good experience.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You were in school when you decided you wanted to go all in for music. Just so the kids know out there, so you kids listening, she did finish school.
Yeah.
Was it kind of like, you know, one day did you just figure like, what am I doing? Like, did you hear other songs on the radio and just feel like, I can do that? Or maybe in some cases, maybe you thought, I can do that even better?
You know what? I think a part of me has always known that I was going to do something with music. I just, you know, it's so funny because when I went through school, I always had the mindset that, you know, you can kind of do music on the side, but then you need a real job, right? And I've always had that mindset up until university, actually. Like, you know, even towards the end of high school, like, I knew I love writing songs, I love singing, I love performing. Like, I knew all of that, but I always thought, okay, like, you know, it's going to be too hard, or I need a real job, like all that kind of stuff. So when I got to university, that's when I started experiencing some of those bigger performances, like the children's games and that kind of stuff. And because I experienced that, I think it made up my mind for me. The second I shared a stage like that and I experienced all those people watching me, like there's just no other feeling that's ever compared to it for me. So I just kind of knew right after that experience that was what I want to do. And I remember after that experience, I ended up telling my dad, because I was halfway through university at the time, and I went home and I told him, I said, listen, like, this is what I want to do, and I'm probably going to start doing it because I don't want to waste time, and I've kind of always known that I wanted to do this. And so he's like, okay, but you have to finish school first. So
right.
I did. I finished school first, and then as soon as I was done, I just went full throttle, and I went for it, and I put out my first EP and all that stuff. So
good advice, Pete.
Yes, good advice, Pete. I wasn't very happy about it in the moment, of course, but, you know, you figure you're halfway through university, you might as well finish and have something.
Right.
Have something there in case it doesn't work out for whatever reason. And
exactly. You did finish. You have something to fall back on.
Yeah.
And a lot of successful people will tell you that it is okay to fail. It's not okay to give up. You know, worst comes to worst, you still have something.
Yes, exactly. You know, right now I'm still young and I finished school. I have a lot of time, at least a few years to go after it, and hopefully something will happen, right? But my main goal has always been just to write my songs and get people to hear them and somehow relate to them in some way. So if I can do that in some capacity, I'll be happy.
I noticed that you did a lot of performances at Caesars in Windsor.
Yes.
Now, have you also done a lot of traveling?
Traveling a little bit, not too much. I'm usually around, the Windsor area, around Toronto area, and then with my band, the wedding band, we've done a lot of stuff in around the Michigan area, because Windsor's right across the river from Detroit. Kind of cross on over and do stuff like that there, but not too much traveling out of this area, though.
Not yet.
Not yet, anyway. Yeah.
Brace yourself, man.
Okay.
Getting radio play on, the airwaves out here, out west. This is way out west.
I know. How cool is that? That's so weird. It's weird to even think that you guys are playing my stuff. It's so cool. I'm all the way over here. Cool.
The song that we are playing, At a Time, how fun was the music video process?
You know what? It was awesome. It was really cool. I had a friend of mine who is from Windsor who now lives in LA. His name is Gavin Michael Booth, and he came back to Windsor for me to shoot this video for me and direct it and everything. So it was really cool. It was a really cool process. It was the first time I've done a music video for my own song. Like, I've done some other cover videos and stuff, but to have it be my own song and have people acting in it and the whole process of planning it, it's really, really cool. So it's a cool feeling when you get to actually watch it after and think, oh my God, this is my song. It's
right.
really cool.
It's a little surreal, eh?
Yeah, definitely. But it was a very cool experience, so I'm hoping to do more of those probably in the next couple months or so.
Right. Definitely. On your EP.
Yeah.
Now, the song At a Time, it's about you giving the old heave-ho to a dude. No longer your BF, as the kids like to say. They say BF. They shorten it up. So if somebody out there, now I know you're a busy lady right now, if someone wants to connect with you, what's something that they can do to not waste your time? Would you like them to buy you a prime rib dinner? Nice solid meal?
I know, because in the video I was not impressed with anything, clearly.
Yeah, you didn't like this fella.
That's so funny that you say that. A prime rib dinner. That's really funny. No, that guy in the video, though, he tried so many different things. It's funny, though, because the guy who directed the video, a lot of it was his idea. It's not actually, I know I kind of give off this vibe I'm just the meanest girl ever. But it wasn't really supposed to be like that. I'm not actually that mean. But I really wanted to give the impression, I guess across to the audience that, it's sometimes you got to just move on. Not sit there and wait around for somebody to waste your time anymore. So we kind of made it the worst case scenario and made a video out of that. So it turned out really well, though. It was really funny. I still watch it and laugh. So
yeah, it's a great video, man.
Yeah.
Growing up in Windsor,
I'm
a sports guy. I love me some hockey. I love watching hockey. Are you a fan at all of the Red Wings?
I am, actually. I am a fan of the Red Wings. It's funny because my brother is super into hockey. And my dad, too, he's a big sports guy. Not only music, but sports, too. So growing up watching hockey and going to my brother's tournaments and stuff. So
I thought you might be a Red Wings fan.
I might be.
Yes.
I'm not huge on it. I'm more into the music side of things, but I definitely enjoy the Red Wings. So
I'm only saying that because I grew up not too far from Windsor. I grew up in Toronto.
Okay.
And since being in radio, I've been moving out west. My first gig was in Saskatchewan. Then I moved to Alberta. Now I'm here. But growing up in Toronto, I'm a Leafs fan.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
I guess just putting it out there, man.
Well, I won't attack you for being a Leafs fan. I'm not that kind of person.
Well, I can't take it.
People that would do that.
No, I do that to myself, just being a Leafs fan.
Yeah.
But they're on the up and up now, so.
Yeah. So we're good. We're good.
The folks want to know, when are you coming to BC?
The folks. Interesting.
All the folks out there in Radioland.
You know what? I'm really hoping soon. That would be wonderful. I would love to plan some kind of Canadian tour or something. That would be awesome. And just kind of visit all the places. Because I've, not only you guys, but I've had some really cool places playing my music, and I want to come see you guys. I would love to come see. And there's a lot of places in Canada I haven't been, so including BC. So it'd be wonderful.
I would say you're a welcome guest in BC.
Wonderful. I appreciate that.
The folks want you to come out and play some jams for them. Don't you, listener?
It'd be great. Love to do that. As long as they dance and they enjoy the music. Just don't throw anything at me.
Oh, that would be terrible.
It happens, though, so.
Was it just your family that kind of got you into music, or was there maybe a song that you heard that made you say, I want to do that?
I think it's a little both. Like, not a specific song, but I've always been around it, so that's just been normal to me. But I know ever since I was really little, I always wrote songs, and I don't know why or how that started, but I always wrote stuff. And then I would hear songs that I did like, and I would try to, like, not copy it, but I would, like, take the melody and, like, write my own words to it before I was, like, big enough to know how to do it myself. And I've always been doing that, and I still have, like, these old diaries and stuff that I used to write songs, and it's really funny when I go back and look at it because they were just awful. But I've always been doing it. And then I remember in grade school when Avril Lavigne came out, who was also a Canadian artist, and she came out, she blew my mind. I loved her so much because she was so different than anything else that I had heard, and she kind of pushed me a little bit to pursue it a little more. So she's definitely one of my biggest influences.
I was going to ask you about Avril Lavigne because I know that she was one of your biggest influences. Now, if you could open for anyone CanCon right now, would it be her?
Oh, yeah. She's one of the biggest ones for me, I think. You know, her first album that came out, it's still to this day my favorite album. It's just so real, and she just did not care. Like, she just said what she felt, and she was not worried about being all girly and pretty, and she was just kind of a tomboy and herself, and that to me is, like, it's so important, especially for young girls that are growing up and trying to find themselves. And I think it's really important to advertise that you need to just be who you are and be comfortable in your own skin, and I love that about her. So that'd be awesome if I could open for her.
Wouldn't that be something, man?
Yeah.
You were on the show called The Song.
Yes.
A reality television show. Now, if you'd like, can you tell us, the listener and I, more about the reality show The Song?
So this process was interesting for me because it was based in Indiana. So when I first read about it, I didn't know too much about it. I just kind of, like, I always do this. I look up stuff online, like songwriting competitions and whatever. So I tried to, enter in as many things as possible. And for this, you had to enter in an audition video, and it had to be only original music. You couldn't do any covers or anything like that. So had to be songs that you wrote. So I sent in the song that I wrote called Alive Today, and I sent that in, and I didn't really think anything of it, and I ended up making it into the top 15. I don't know I think there was like something like 9,000 submissions, and so it was mostly U.S. based, right? So for me, I made top 15, and I was the only Canadian.
So what was going through your mind when you knew that you made the top 15? What was the first thing that popped into your head?
Is this a joke? That's literally, I think that's exactly what I said to myself. Is this a joke? And then you think, okay, that kind of thing can't happen to me. So I figured, okay, maybe it's not credible. Like, so you start thinking the worst things because you're like, there's no way.
Yeah, maybe as an artist, you kind of like, you don't think of yourself that great, and then the show wants you. You're like, how great is this show anyway?
Right. That's exactly what I thought in my head. I'm like, there's no way. But no, I made it, and I did a little more research on it once I actually made it on, because I was confused. Like, there's no way. But I read up on it, and I had to travel to Muncie, Indiana, and so I was there with 15 other people, and it's, like I said, you get chosen based on your own original material. So I think that was the most flattering part about it. It was the song that they liked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that was the first time I realized, wow, like, maybe I can write a song. Maybe my songs are decent. I don't know. So that was pretty cool for me.
And I understand one of the challenges was called the 48-hour boot camp. So that was, I guess, turning over a song in 48 hours and being able to release it to the masses. It sounds grueling, but the creative guy in me feels like that maybe helped a bit. I mean, I don't have the best discipline as a creative guy. Like, I think of myself as creative. I like to be interesting and funny on the microphone. But it takes a lot for me to get the ball rolling on my own ideas when I think of something that might work on the air. So sometimes I kind of trick myself into thinking that there is a deadline. Like back in college when I was doing, radio school, a lot of my best stuff came because I had a deadline. Do you feel like the 48-hour thing helped in any way?
You know what? Well, the thing is with this process, it was still your own song that you were using, right? So the 48-hour boot camp, there was like about 4 different, boot camp style things that they put us through, and we had to put our songs to the test, right? So in each thing that we had to go through, none of us knew what we were doing ahead of time. So we kind of had to go in with our, kind of blindfolded, not really knowing what we're doing, and you have to put all your faith into your song, right, and try to almost rationalize why your song is the best or why it can push forward more than anyone else's. And so that's kind of tough. It's hard to do, but you really get to figure out what you're made of.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, I guess the pressure kind of helps. I think a lot of my more funny bits and stuff that I've done on the radio comes from being like, oh man, I got to put something together now.
Yeah, because it's almost like you don't have time to think. You just have to do what's genuine and do exactly what comes to you in that moment. And I think that's the coolest part about it, because if you end up moving forward, then it's like, well, they 100% liked me for me, and they liked my music for what it was, and that's kind of humbling in a way. Pretty cool. So yeah, I'm probably the same way then with the whole pressure thing. I think as soon as that happens, you're in a situation where you're under a lot of pressure and you just got to deliver. You have no choice. You
right.
have to make yourself do it, right? You don't get a chance to overthink or anything like that.
I think that's what it is, overthinking.
Yeah.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
On that show, you worked with Mark Leggett. Now, This fella, he worked with guys like George Michael. He worked with Queen, New Kids on the Block. Did he tell you any cool stories?
Not too much. It was kind of sad in a way because we, like I said, throughout that whole boot camp and everything, he was part of it. So we had to just kind of go. You don't really have a lot of time to sit there and talk with people, which kind of sucked a little bit. But it's enough knowing that they have all this experience and you're in front of these people that have worked with artists like that. So that, to me, that's enough.
Yeah, so it was kind of easy to trust them then with their instincts.
Absolutely, yeah. And you can tell right away just the way he carried himself and the advice he gave us and the things that he said. And, it's really cool. You learn a lot from people like that.
All right, so to get to know you a little bit better, you have a YouTube. I'll let you tell the folks what your YouTube page is called.
Okay, my YouTube page is Christie P Music, and I have a little mixture of my music video that just came out of time, and then I have some cover videos up there, some live performances. It's a little mix of everything. So if you're interested in looking it up, you can go ahead.
Exactly. There you go, listener. If you're liking the jam that we're playing for her at a time, you can find out more by going to Christie P Music on YouTube. And also you have a website.
Yeah. So my website's the same. I try to keep everything the same so it's organized and people can find me, because my last name is impossible for people to spell. So my website is Christie P Music, and that's Christie with a CH and an IE. And I have everything linked up to there. I have all my social media and pictures and videos, and my actual album is there as well. So
yep, if they want to see your crazy blue hair, you're rocking the rock star look, man.
Yeah, I like the blue hair. My dad doesn't like it too much, but
no. He's again it, huh?
Yeah, he's not liking it, but it's okay. Got to find my own identity,
Right. Pete. Give her a chance, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right, so if they're sold on you, they want to buy some of your music, how can that be arranged?
My music is linked up to my website, so you can go on there, and there's some links to iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon. And it's also available on Apple Music, too. So you can either look up my music by my full name, Christie Palazzolo, or you can go up to my social media links or my YouTube page or my website, ChristiePmusic.com, and everything is linked up there if you're interested in buying music.
It's all linked there.
Yeah.
How much bang for your buck can you promise?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. You should all listen to it and then let me know if it's worth it or not. Everyone's different. Everybody likes different style of music, and so I don't know. I hope you guys like it, whoever does end up going up and listening to it or buying.
Sounds like you're a pop star. Sounds like the tunes are good. The video's cool. You're on your way, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And just one more thing before you go, Christie. Which one of the Friends characters do you most identify with?
Oh, my God. I'm so happy that you asked me this question. I love Friends. Oh, goodness. I would have to say Phoebe. Phoebe, I don't know. I can't choose. I love them all. Chandler is my favorite because he's so funny, and Joey is just stupid, so he's funny. And Phoebe's weird, so maybe I identify with Phoebe. Yeah, maybe that's the right answer.
She also plays live music.
Yeah.
Smelly Cat.
Oh, good. Smelly cat, smelly cat.
What are they feeding you, Smelly Cat? Christie.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on the show today. It was great getting to know you.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.